All right, it is 10:30 at night on March 5th, and I have about a week left before my third play guide launch, and I'm so excited, but I have so much to do. So I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes with me on what it takes to create a toddler activity play guide. It is not lost on me how amazing it is that I have helped almost 300 parents just through my paid activity guides alone. I've helped numerous other people with my free resources and different free activities on Instagram and social media. So it's just been amazing in the past year, just this community that I have found. But I love creating these guides, and I am so excited for my third one. It's a little bit different because it's aimed towards a little bit older toddlers. It goes up to age 6, give or take. And it's all about burning energy for those kiddos who will not sit still, who do not want to do an activity at a table. We're going to get people up and moving and having fun, and I'm so excited. Since I do work full time, I don't have a lot of hours in the day. I have to stay up pretty late, and I regret it in the morning. But it's not always like this. It's not always me creating new guides. So it's worth it. So far tonight, I've had my husband help me cut some different activities with a box cutter out of cardboard boxes just that we got in the mail. Like I have a diaper box over there and an Amazon box. A lot of the things in my guides are used items you have at home. You have recycling, hang onto that box. You have an empty paper towel roll, save it. You know what I mean? Really just utilizing the things that you already have and that don't cost you a lot of money. So I've done that. I have created a maze with twine, and I had to test that out. I actually filmed some fun content with that because this is one of the activities that I had in my mind. Like in theory, this is gonna work really well. Didn't know if it actually was, so I literally tested it on camera. This could be a fail, but it could also be really fun, and that's kind of the point of toddler activities. We're just gonna wing it and we're gonna do trial and error. And now I've just imported some photos to some of my other pages that have been missing some photos. So there are 50 main activities in the guide. There's some extra ones thrown in there. But for the main 50 activities, I always do one per page, and I do supply list, I have a photo, and then I have like a blurb. So then the last couple of days before launch will be me going through, reading it again, making sure page numbers are correct, making sure the links are correct. So there's a lot that goes into creating an activity guide. I can't believe I'm creating a third guide of all new activities. I mean, that's just insane to me. All right, it is Saturday 8th. I did not get to film anything yesterday, but I was up very late. So to catch you up while I laminate, what did I do yesterday? I took some more activity photos. I think that's where I had left off, which I was doing a lot of that on Thursday. I was writing a lot of emails yesterday and trying to organize all of that for the folks on my wait list. They have a sequence. I feel like I already talked about emails. All the days are blending together, honestly. I feel like this is the problem with mom brain and toddler mom brain. Does it get any better as your kids get older? I don't know. I have a rough timeline of when I think launch is going to start, but I think that kind of depends on tonight too and how much I get done. It's spring forward. I think I have that right, or do I have it backwards? I don't know. That's a bummer because we lose an hour and I need all the hours I can get. Tonight the goal is to take the final photo, which is not this activity, but one of these activities in here, to proofread my guide. So then the guide itself is quote unquote done. Then tomorrow I really just finalize looking everything over again in the guide, double checking links, finalizing all those emails in my timeline. That's the goal. This is my little laminator. These are templates that I include in the guide. If I mention an activity about hang these color sheets, I include it. Obviously, people can make these on their own, but if you're buying a guide from me, I'm gonna give you everything that I can because the whole point is to make things easier and simple and quick. You don't need to laminate, but I love laminating because then it just stays nice and then you can save them and pull them out really quick. No kid is perfect. No activity is going to work for every single child. No activity is going to work every single time. There's a day where my daughter can love an activity and then the next day she's not as into it. It's really just hit or miss, and that's one thing that I really want parents to know. Don't give up so quickly. If your kid plays for 2 minutes one day, that is a win. toddler asks for an activity, that is a win. If your kid dumps all the ball pit balls out but then entertains himself with those ball pit balls for 10 minutes, even if it's not the activity you had in mind, that is a win. All of these things are wins. And it's just getting familiar with entertaining your kids in different ways and not feeling like you're reliant on screen time or on playing with them one-on-one, because that's not sustainable. I really do think that it's a balance. I think there's a time and a place for screen time. I think there's a time and a place for filling your kid's cup through play, and time and a place for independent play. That's what I hope to achieve with this guide and be able to really help people see. And I feel like this guide is a good mix of some activities are aimed more towards playing with your child and really filling their cup, and some activities are good independent play. Most activities can kind of go both ways. Another thing about this guide, while I'm just sitting here laminating, it has a little bit older of an audience, so that's new too. My first two guides were 12 months to 4, because that's what I knew at the time, and this one that I'm working on is like 2 to 6. I would say my 2-year-old is right on the edge, which is why I have it listed as that. There's definitely activities where we need to modify them at this point with him. But that's honestly any child. And again, that's why I love open-ended activities. Just because your kid is 4 and other 4-year-olds are doing these activities or like these certain activities, your kid just could be on a different timeline, and that is totally okay because everybody is different. An 8-year-old could really, really love these activities. You know what I mean? I love that they're open-ended because you can keep adding things easily to it, like the counting or the number matching ones. Change that into letter sounds for an older kid. Whatever they're working on, you really can take the bones of an activity, swap it into something that interests your kid or your kid is working on at that stage. I have people who have purchased every single one of my guides, and I love that. And I love having people who continue to be a part of my space. But obviously, I hope the goal is also to help people see that they can do this too. And like once your brain is used to thinking outside the box and being creative with activities and modifying, they'll be hopefully able to see that they can do this on their own. All right, here's a little bit of a story time about how I got into toddler activities as I am laminating a toddler activity. I really dove in January 2024. My son was at that point almost a year, and it was a really rough transition for my oldest when we brought my son home, and just going from not being an only child to having a sibling. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of kids, but she was having a lot more big feelings than normal. She was fighting nap time and bedtime. Just things were going rough. And honestly, what it came down to is I felt like she was lacking connection with her dad and I. We both work from home full time. We're working during the day. We have a very unique situation in most days do not have childcare. My dad comes by luckily one day a week for like 3 hours on and off through my daughter's life. And with my son, there was months where we would have some help come in 2 days a week. So very minimal. We both work full time, most days out of the home. So my daughter was around me every single day, but I couldn't give her that attention. And on top of that, she now has a younger brother. I could just tell she was lacking connection. So I started really prioritizing one-on-one play with her, but it had to be easy. It had to be simple, right? I don't have time to set up a sensory bin. I remember before I was a parent, I would watch people on YouTube creating sensory bins, or even when I was pregnant, I was like, I am gonna do that. That's what I would love to do. And yeah, that seems really fun and cool. I'm sure a lot of children have fun with that. I just can't do that. Not to mention, now that I am a parent, I'm just so overstimulated. That would just drive me crazy. So I knew it had to be something simple. We started with daily coloring sheets. It would be different themes like emotion of the week, or letter of the day, number of the day, seasons. And we did that for over 100 days straight. It started with really being with her the whole time at the table. So she's getting that connection at the very beginning of the day, starting her day off right. She is working on her fine motor skills. Watching it change day to day is such a unique experience. I feel like most kids don't color every single day. She's not even 4 and she colors amazing. Her fine motor skills are crazy. And with my son, we have not been as on top of that, but that was what we did. It's nothing crazy. We literally did coloring sheets. Spent 5-10 minutes, whatever it was, talking, connecting. She's working on a skill. Then later on, we started doing a simple activity with painter's tape or ball pit balls or things that I have around my house, clothespins, paper clips, markers, sticky notes, simple things where if you don't have it, you just purchase it once. We focused on one activity a day, just kept it really, really simple. And that's why my first guide is exactly that. It's a 60-day guide of here's your activity for day 1, here's your activity for day 2. I'm trying to make it it easy because it can feel so overwhelming, but it doesn't need to be. It can be as simple as, let me peel off some painter's tape, stick it to the table, and stick another line on the ground. I want you to take the tape off and put it on the tape. It can be that simple. My children have always been really great independent players because I do work from home, and we did start that skill really early on, but this has been another way for them to stay entertained while I work without having to rely on screen time. If we're, in the playroom, they're very engaged. They want to play with me, but they also want to play by themselves. So that was a really helpful tool. And so many moms struggle with that. They struggle with their kids not being able to play alone. And so that's why, again, my second guide came to be, because I was like, I have two really amazing independent players. Here's what I've learned and what's worked for us, and is now working for other people, which is crazy. I just am so thankful for being able to do this because it's truly helping my family. These are all built out of necessity for me and my family, and just being able to share that with other people who are going through the same thing and being able to hopefully help them has just been a really cool experience. And it makes motherhood feel a lot less lonely and makes me feel like I have something to do other than just be a mom. And yeah, I work, but it feels like I'm doing something for me, which is fun. I wish this thing was faster, but I don't know. Someone tell me, are there faster laminators? Do I need to upgrade the situation? So here we are, laminating on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. Fun times, fun times.